What is up, nerds? We are back again here for a deck profile. Today we'll be doing my deck, the Dark World deck. So let's get started and hopefully you guys enjoy. So we have pretty obvious these three Graphas, 3 Snows, and 3 Brows, which is pretty standard. Graphas the Beatstick, Snows the Search, and Brows the Draw. We have 2 Bages, good for swarming those Graphas, and also with that Silva. And he's also a Beatstick, so he's 23 and 26 with Gates. We have 2 Tour Guides. Now I know Tour Guides have 3, but I only run 2 because my Tour Guide targets are Brows and not another Tour Guide. So, and it's really good for R3 plays. We have 2 Trans Archfiends because these guys are just really good. It's discard and recycle banished dark. It's good with Gates because you banish your Dark Worlds and you can reuse them again. 1 Raven to discard, and it's also a tuner. So if you discard Bage with another monster, you can go for level 8 Synchros or R4s. He's just really good for scenarios. And 1 Morphing Jar, because Morphing Jar is too good. You discard your hand, draw 5. But sometimes backfires because your opponent draws 5 too, but you get more than +5 because you discard your whole hand. And for spells, we have 3 Gates of the Dark World, which is basically the engine of this deck. You get your banish, discard, and a draw, and it works really well with Trans Archfiend. And we have our 3 Dark World dealings for drawing and discarding. We have 2 drag downs. I only run 2 because it's sometimes you can't use it because your opponent has no hand, stuff like that. If they're top decking, you can't really use it and it's a dead draw. So I only run 2, and it's really good because you get to see their hand, so you can mind crush them and get yourself ready for what their next play is gonna be. We have 2 Gateway to Dark World. I run these because like it says you can't summon for the rest of this turn, but if you use it during your opponent's turn, especially on their end phase, you can get a Dark World. You can summon a Dark World monster and then bounce for Grapha, so you can recycle a Dark World. Or when you're getting attacked directly, you just use this, summon that Grapha, and usually saves your life. We have 3 upstarts for consistency, and also this deck focuses on drawing a lot, so upstart's really good. We have Dark Hole, 2 MSTs, and a Foolish Burial. Dark Hole's pretty standard, and 2 MSTs. I only run 2 because Grapha pops cards, so I don't need any more cards to destroy back row. And 1 Foolish Burial to get that Grapha on the graveyard and just easily summon him if you don't have any discarding cards in your hand and you have a bunch of Dark Worlds. Foolish Burial is really good to easily get that Grapha. And for traps, I don't run that much. I only run 5 traps. We have 1 Compulse, 1 Mind Crush, 1 Torrential, 1 Duck Devastation, and 1 Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Compulse is pretty standard against Xyz monsters. Torrential's pretty obvious. Mind Crush, I only run 1 because the same reason Drag Down, you can't use it when your opponent has no hand, and you can't use it when you have no hand. Same for Drag Down. This is really good for monsters or for decks that search a lot, and for monsters that activates from the hand, like Megalo, like I showed in the past video. So Mind Crush is really good, and if I do need it for decks that really focus on searching, I do have another one in my side. And these two is to get the best advantage in a duel. Deck Dev destroys monsters with 1500 or less for the next 3 turns. Eradicator destroys spells or traps, you pick. And they only need a tribute of a 2000 and 2500 attack dark monster, which is Grapha. And it's not that hard to summon him back. So that's really good. For my extra deck, for my R4s, I have Utopia, Maestroke, Diamond Dire, and Cowboy. These are all pretty standard R4s. I can only summon them if I have 2 Beiges, or a Trance that discards a Beige, or a Raven, which is, they're all for situations. The extra deck's really just if you really need it, but the main is summoning those Graphas. And we have, for rank 8, we have Hieratic Sun, Overlord of Heliopolis, which is an awesome card to pop your monsters with, and you just need 2 Graphas. The thing about this card is that it does tribute any monster from your field and your hand. So if you tribute a Dark World monster from your hand, it doesn't get its effect because it's considered tributed and not discarded by a card effect. So just keep in mind that you don't get your effects when you use this. But it is a good advantage to just wipe your opponent's field and summon back those Graphas, the ones that you detached, which is pretty easy. And then we have our Synchros here, our level 8 Synchros for that Raven play. We have Stardust, Scribe Dragon, and Red Dragon Archfiend. Now I would run a Crimson Blader if I had one, but right now I'm just using a Red Dragon Archfiend, which can still be good because he is a beat stick, and he just gets rid of decks that swarm, like the level 2 Beasts and the Nimbles, which just summon a bunch of weak monsters in defense position and just easily wipes their field. And these two are pretty standard level 8s. For R3s, which is the majority of my extra deck because of the tour guides, we have Nightmare Shark, which I just got recently and it's awesome. It's if your opponent has 2000 left and they have a big monster, attack directly for game. He's just awesome. We have Temtempo, Leviathan, Giga Brilliant, Leviair, Zenmaines, and Acid Golem. So these are the pretty standard R3s except for Giga Brilliant, which I'm just using to easily detach. Like if I need a Dark World in my graveyard for gates, get that tour guide, Xyz for 3, detach that brow. I can also use it for Leviathan, but Giga Brilliant boosts all of your monsters you have on your field forever, as far as I know, because it doesn't say till the end phase. So that is it for my extra deck and my main deck. And for my side, I have Mind Crush and Dark Smog. So I said before that extra Mind Crush if the deck searches a lot. Dark Smog I just got recently, and I haven't really found a place for it in my main deck because it's really good. It banishes card from their graveyard, but I don't like discarding without a plus. If you noticed, all of my discarders, after you discard, you draw, like Dark World Dealings, Gates, Drag Down. So it feels like I'm gonna run out of hand when I use Dark Smog. Vanity's Emptiness, which is really good. Good for that one turn your opponent doesn't destroy or doesn't special summon, and I could easily get rid of it on my turn, because if a monster from your field when a card is sent from your field or deck to the graveyard, destroy this card. So that's easy, you can just discard. He'll die. or if you send from the deck or field to the graveyard. Yeah. Discard or just, or actually if you use a spell and it goes to the graveyard, that's considered a card going to your graveyard, so Vanity's Emptiness dies. Deck Dev, which is really good. Sometimes I don't need that EEV and I really need that Deck Dev, so I just switch it out, add this, and it's really good to stop, which is now in like kind of meta. The raccoons are really annoying now, so Deck Dev really gets rid of them. That extra drag down for it's just really good because despite where you can't use it when your opponent doesn't have a hand, drag down is really good. We have 2 Dark World Lightnings, which destroys face downs for Ghost Tricks, which is getting more and more annoying nowadays. DD Crow to get rid of graveyard cards, decks that focuses on their graveyard a lot, like Fire Kings. Just gets rid of that Grunix before it nukes you. We have Grand Mole and Penguin Soldier to get rid of monsters that stop special summoning and can be destroyed. So Ophion, just on top of my head, I can't summon my Graphas to kill it, so Grand Mole and Penguin Soldier is the cards to get rid of that. We have that Silva, just an extra beat stick, and against Dark World mirror matches, it's really good when your opponent's when it's discarded by your opponent's card effect. Get 2 cards from their hand, put it in the bottom of the deck, which is really good. We have Jinzo to stop trap decks like Chainburn, still out there, guys. So Jinzo, really good for that. We have 2 Skill Drains and Malefic Stardust. Just in case I need to go Malefic Skill Drain variant, I have these guys. Skill Drain is really good. It does not affect Dark Worlds. So if I side in those Skill Drains, Malefic Stardust will actually be really good. Plus, I don't need Skill Drain to get this because I do have Gates. So that's it for my side deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Comment below what you guys think about my deck. I'm open to any suggestions. So thanks guys. See you later.